Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Right, it's Saturday, the 20th of June 2020, and I'm here to talk about my weight loss results for this week. I weigh in on a Friday now, and I've said this is because of my group being on a Saturday morning, and Naomi has to manually input all the weight information overnight. So I weighed in yesterday morning, and I've got my bag of weight loss on my shoulder again, so I might as well share it with you straight away. I hate it when people keep me in suspense. So here's my bag of weight loss, and inside it today we have a carton of the red kidney beans, or
it's chopped tomatoes.
Oh, chopped tomatoes. See? Oh yeah, I can tell now. A carton of chopped tomatoes and a quite large paperback book. Is that the right way?
Yeah.
Quite a large paperback book. I mean, you can see it's thick, it's heavy, and together these two things weigh 2.5 pounds. So again this week, following on from my 2.5 pound loss last week, I've lost another 2.5 pounds, and I'm more than pleased with that. And it's been a pleasure, it really has. And I think after 5 years on Slimming World, I finally found a way of eating that actually totally satiates me, that is kind of like comfort food, and my kind of comfort food. I know everybody's comfort foods are different, and is a pleasure to eat. And this week, I'm holding on to this book, so I'm going to tell you about it in a minute, but this week I've eaten some quite weird combinations, but I picked some of this up over the time from my lovely friend Rebecca Shaw. Rebecca puts what I used to consider quite odd things together. I think last week she said she had toast with Marmite and strawberries. Now at one time I'd have thought, oh, I can't imagine that. But this week I've been putting some strange things together and really, really enjoying them. So, for example, this morning for my breakfast, totally wacko, I have had a bowl of mashed sweet potato. No butter or milk or anything in it, just mashed sweet potato. Quite a sizable bowl, like half the big bag of, you know, the frozen sweet potato you can get, so half a bag of sweet potato, and a bowl of blackberries. And some people might think, you're definitely weird. I am, but I love it. And that kind of food is so satiating and so comforting that I don't feel resentful about the fact that I can't have the kind of comfort foods that I really enjoy, because they fit within plan, because they're working for the way I'm choosing to eat, then I can eat them. Now, last Sunday when Joe's dad came for lunch, Joe made a really lovely fruit salad for dessert. So on Monday morning, I took what was left of the fruit salad, which had things like mango and melon and blueberries and that in it. So I took what was left of it and I added to it half a tin of chickpeas. Again, you think, totally wacko woman, but you know what? It really worked. So that's putting together a sort of SP meal. Although having said that, are chickpeas carbs as well, Jeff?
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah.
They're
So
like
there is
half and half, aren't
carbs and protein.
they? Yeah.
So I'm not low carb anymore. That's the one thing I'm actually like celebrating in my life. I've been making big potato salads this week with like 400 grams of potatoes in the bowl, and then adding celery, apple, beetroot, hemp seeds, all sorts of different things to it, any fruit, vegetable, whatever you like. And then I've been making a dressing with things like lime juice and balsamic vinegar. One day I did lime juice and Dijon mustard. That was a bit hot. The next day I did the Dijon mustard, but I just put a drop, about 10 mils of soy milk in it. Excuse me, that's my breakfast. I just put 10 mils of soy milk in it to like dilute it. Poured it over the salad that I made that day, which I'd made with buckwheat. And oh my God, talk about delicious, creamy dressing for half a sin, you know, for the mustard. And you could use powdered mustard, but I think you can only kind of get that in the English, and I like Dijon or whole grain. But using my imagination, literally having a big bowl full of food. So I sit down at lunchtime and I think to myself, oh my God, I can eat all of that. And then I can have fruit if I want to. And it's just such a turnaround from thinking, is that all I can eat? Because I used to be terrified of carbs, and I'm really not anymore. I used to be absolutely terrified because I thought, oh, turns to sugar, the minute you eat it, you're going to put on the weight, blah, blah, blah. Something I heard yesterday, I can't even remember, I think it was Dr. Michael Clapper said it. He said, if you eat carbs and fat together, the carbs turn into sugar, of course, we know that. Your body burns the sugar from the carbs, like the pasta, and we're talking refined carbs here, not whole grains and things, we're talking refined carbs, so flour, pasta, pastries, whatever. If you eat those things together, the fat and the refined carbs, your body burns the refined carbs as sugar and it stores the fat for later, and then we wonder why we're putting on weight. And I think the revelation to me has been, hit the carbs as hard as you like, Jane, just don't add fat. So we don't use any fat now, we don't have fat in the house, we don't use any fat, we don't use fry light, spray fats, nothing. You don't need to. I've learnt from the plant-based cookery course that Joe bought me that there are so many ways to saute, with vinegar, with wine if you drink wine, with sherry if you like sherry or sherry vinegar. Or you can make stock, your own stock cubes. So what you do is you make up your jug of stock from your stock of choice, we use Kalo, and then you pour it literally into an ice cube tray and freeze it. And when you want to saute, you know, like you sauteing your onions, your garlic, mushrooms, whatever, just as a start off, then throw an ice cube in and use that liquid as your saute liquid. If it gets a bit dry, throw another ice cube in. I think you need good pans to do this. You need pans that won't stick. So either a very good stainless steel pan or very good non-stick pans. And we use Le Creuset, and honest to God, nothing sticks. It's fabulous.
But we're not fat free.
We're not
We
fat
still
free.
eat seeds and
Yeah, we
stuff
like
like
I
that.
would
We
have.
just don't add oil.
We don't add oil. Did you know 1 pint of oil? No, not a pint even. 1 pound of oil, so 16 ounces of oil is 4,000 calories. I learned that this week, and that's quite shaken me. So we don't add oil. So we do have hemp seeds. We do have
Chia seeds.
Joe has chia seeds. I have milled linseeds. There is an element of fat in those, but I only have half a tablespoon twice a day, which works out in total 3 sins. But we don't add butter, we don't use margarine, we don't have oil, we don't use fry light, any spray frays, we don't use coconut oil anymore. Because I used to go mad about coconut oil, didn't I? Till I discovered that it's saturated fat and it's no better for me than using ghee. It's a journey, I'm evolving. So some of the things I've said in the past I would not stand by today because I'm 2 years further down the line. But carbs are king in my book at the moment. I'm eating carbs in a way I've never eaten them for donkey's years. I'm not afraid to have half a kilo of potatoes with my meal. I'm not afraid to have half a big bag of frozen sweet potato as mash. I'm not afraid to have 20 extra grams of porridge and sin it. And you know, a big bowl of buckwheat, I have 3 times the rice I used to eat, but I don't use the sachets anymore because they've got oil in. I cook my own, and it's so bloody easy. Why didn't I do that before? I think I was just too lazy. Stick a sachet in the microwave, that's all you deserve. But it's not. I deserve to eat better than that. So I think the reason I'm getting weight loss at the moment is because of the way I'm eating. And somebody on my comments suggested I read a book called The Starch Solution by Dr. John Mcdougall. I've read it 3 times. I mean, I read it once and I've read it twice again, and there's so much wisdom in there that fits with Slimming World. I'm not going to go off and do Dr. Mcdougall's diet. I'm not going to go off and do AJ's Secrets, whatever diet. She's got a brilliant diet out there. They're not for me. Slimming World is for me. Totally Slimming World. But there are ways of doing Slimming World that you can adapt to your own style of eating. If your style of eating is to save all your sins for treats at night, you can do that with Slimming World. If your style of eating is to eat a vegetarian diet, you can do that with Slimming World. If you're a massive, what would you be if you ate all meat? Carnivore?
Carnivore.
If you're a massive carnivore, you can do that with Slimming World. You might get constipated because there's no fibre in meat, but you can adapt it to suit your lifestyle. Now, oh yeah, that was what I wanted to tell you. As of yesterday when I weighed in, I've been back on this plan for 25 days. And in that 25 days, I've lost 10 pounds. I'm I was quite blown away by that because I didn't expect a 2.5 pound weight loss yesterday. I was thinking maybe a pound, maybe 1.5 pounds if I was, you know, fortunate. When I got on the scales and I'd actually lost just over 2.5 pounds because I rounded it up. Alexa, stop. So where the scale says I'm 9 stone 8.4, I count that as 9 stone 8.5. So yeah, in 25 days I've lost 10 pounds. Now, I just want to show you this book and talk about it briefly. Esther Levesque. This lady was interviewed by Chef AJ on my mum's birthday, which was the 11th of June. This lady started her weight loss journey at age 73. And it's called From Donuts to Potatoes because her husband owned 5 donut shops. And this lady has changed her life. She's almost like a reborn person. The book is a bit expensive. It's $22.99 on Amazon. It's a paperback, but it's sizable. But her story is the most bloody inspiring story of weight loss I've heard in a long time. And she's lost about 11 stone to get to where she is now, which is, I think, about the same weight that I am. So she's lost probably a stone less than me to get to where I am now. She's 10 years older than me. Well, she's 76 now. She was 73 when she started her journey, but I think she lost just about all of that weight in a year. And the thing I think I want to say about this is, even if you bugger it up in your 20s, your 30s, your 40s and your 50s like I did, you're never too old to start again. Just believe in yourself and go for it. So yeah, it's I think it's going to be a really good read. We can't get it on audio, so Joe's going to read it for me. But there's so much motivating literature out there and so many motivating weight loss channels. Don't limit yourself to watching Slimming World because you think that's my tribe, I've got to stick with that. A lot of these other weight loss people, you can adapt the way they do their plan and the way they eat on their plan to fit with Slimming World. Don't limit yourself, go for it because you're worth it. So we'll be back next Saturday. Cheers, bye.